VanillaWare has always made games that are visually, aesthetically, and gameplay wise just amazing. But the question is, has their newest game, 13 Sentinels, has that gone and done what all VanillaWare games have done before? And that's be amazing. Let's find out. Before we kick this video off, I want to thank Sega for providing me the review copy of this game. Full disclosure, they're not telling me how to review it or anything like that. It's just they gave me the code, and I'm going to give you my impressions of the game thus far. I've been playing it for a couple weeks, and I figured right now is the best time for me to give you my thoughts on it as I've completed it. And wow, what a journey that game has been thus far. VanillaWare, they are a company that's done so much in the gaming industry over the last couple of decades, with games that have a unique hand-drawn art style that blends like gothic and just anime and high fantasy. It's just amazing what they've been able to do, and they've been able to tackle genres from action RPGs to RPGs to tactical to dungeon crawlers to like Diablo style games and like Golden Axe and whatnot. They've gone and created so many amazing games. But the thing is, it's been a while since their last game came out, which is Dragon's Crown, which originally came out back in, I want to say 2012, 2013, had a re-release on PlayStation 4 about a year and a half ago. And we're just wondering what they're going to do at this point. But being completely honest, I've thoroughly enjoyed the game. I'm just go ahead and give you a spoiler. It's one of those games where story-wise, I can't dive too deep into it because I feel like it's going to just ruin a lot for you. But I really think it's just something you should dive into, and I think you would enjoy it. But with that being said, guys, I'm Mekel, Kasanova, Hawaii content creator, host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I stream every single week on twitch.tv/Mekel Kasanova, so catch me over there. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this review of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I might as well say Pacific Rim because there's a lot of similarities between that and you get the kaiju and all that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the review. I have no idea how I'm going to explain this game's story. It's honestly, the game's story is incredible, and it's difficult as the story involves a lot of things from kaiju, aliens, mechs, time travel, dimension travel, and angst teenagers. The game starts in the year 1985 and features several high school students who are living their day-to-day lives until the arrival of kaiju. The story consists of 13 teenagers who will end up having to defend humanity from an army of monsters and mechs invading Earth. Naturally, each of them pilots their own massive robots called Sentinels, capable of going face-to-face with mankind's mysterious new enemy. And honestly, I'm leaving the story right there because there's just so much to unpack and to dive into that honestly, this is a story you need to experience for yourself. So I will say this, if you like stories like Evangelion, or you like really any type of mech, or there's even some crazy stuff. If you like kaiju stuff like Godzilla and more, then I think you're definitely going to enjoy this game. But I'm not going to dive more into stories because there's so much mystery to it. I don't want to spoil it. Let's shift over to gameplay. 13 Sentinels is a mix of several different genres in that it floats between being a tactical RPG taking place across a grid-based arena, a turn-based RPG where you have to wait for your turn gauge to fill and you can move about the battlefield and use attacks to drain your magic-like gauge called EP. It's also a visual novel that unfolds a deep and complex plot. And finally, it's a mystery game of searching environments for more clues as to what's going on in the world and asking specific questions to the various NPC characters and your own party that you're dealing with. There's really multi-layers to this story in this game. So yeah, with so many gameplay styles mixed into this title, I think it needs to be broken down with each one individually. Starting off first with the visual novel aspect of the game, which is about 90% of what you'll be experiencing in this game. When you start the game, you'll kick it off with exploring around as one of the many students you'll be floating between, as each student has their own story and perspective, and while majority of the time the characters will be talking to one another, there will be instances where you have the opportunity to press X to continue talking to them, or pressing triangle, which will initiate the thoughts of your selected character. When the thoughts to your character are selected, you will be able to use the D-pad to move about their various thoughts and either press triangle again, and then they will ponder on either things said or mentioned to them, or items that they may have picked up or observed, giving more context to the situation. You also have the option of pressing X at these times to either investigate more or hand an item over to another character or inspecting it further. There are certain things in the environments you roam around in that you can interact with and will have a prompt over them when you are near them. You can walk by just moving the left analog stick or run by pressing the circle button. When in your Aegis, you'll be on the battlefield in what can first appear as a RTS or a tactical style game with its grid-based layout, and while it is indeed RTS or real-time strategy, it is also a turn-based RPG, as each character has a gauge that builds up, similar to how in most Final Fantasy games, you have the ATB system or active time battle gauge that'll allow you to select whether you will move about the field, defend, or select one of several attacks, both range and close range, based on the character and their Aegis. In battles, you have conditions needed to win the battle, being either to clear the stage of all enemies, or maintaining a point for a period of time, or protecting a base in a tower defense style manner. Graphically, if you're at all familiar with VanillaWare games like Dragon's Crown, Odin Sphere, Muramasa the Demon Blade, or Grim Grimoire, then you'll know what to expect. It's superb art and animation for everything in the game. Each character has a tremendous amount of detail drawn in them, from their clothes to their hair and more. The way each character moves is so beautiful, as each movement is all hand-drawn and looks incredible. The environments are hand-drawn and so beautifully done, and sway and move and react to what's going on in the game. During battles, the environments look like they have a kind of like a Tron, you know, remember Disney's Tron? It kind of has that vibe to it with the grid lines and all that, and the blue aesthetic. It's really cool, and you gotta see it to understand what I'm talking about. Not really a lot to say here other than it looks good. And when it comes to audio, it is absolutely superb. You actually have a choice when you start the game if you want to use Japanese or English voiceovers. It is truly up to you. I mean, either way you go. I don't understand Japanese, but they sound very convincing when I'm listening to them. When I'm listening to the English voices, they sound like they've gotten into the psychology and the method of the character. Now, I don't know if it's method acting that the English voice actors are doing, but I really believe that when I was hearing those voices, that they were that character, and not that sense of they're just some actor reading lines, and, you know, or an actor that reads the same or just sounds the same across every single character. They're just reading a line. These people were incredibly convincing. So, yeah. When it comes to the OST, I have to say that everything sounds good, even if the music doesn't have anything that just strikes you as that standout tune. When roaming around, areas have this nice ambience about them. So, you know, even though there's no standout music, the ambient music that's there is very thematic and fitting for the environments that you're in. Now, as far as downside, honestly, the only downside to this game is trying to keep up with the 13 main characters and the different time paradoxes, dimension travel, the kaijus, the mechs, all the random stuff that's going on. It's kind of hard to keep up, especially when you start as one character and you're starting in 1985 and you end up in 2035 and you keep jumping back and forth between that time period, the mid 2000s and the early 1960s. It jumps around quite a lot, and a lot of times you'll see characters overlapping in each other's timeline. You're like, wait, but I thought you're from that timeline, but no, you're from this timeline. So it's really kind of hard to keep up. Trust me, it makes sense if you stick with it. If you're one of those people that if it doesn't grab you in the first hour or 2 or 3, maybe 4, you're going to miss out on a really phenomenal story. It is a slow burn, but it's one of those burns that just keeps you hooked. And it's like you need another serving. So just stick with it. That's all I can really say. Now, in wrapping up the game, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is a game with a lot going for it. It has a superb story, engaging and relatable characters, breathtaking visuals, and art style, fantastic battles, and an excellent voice cast, all to make this one of the sleeper hits of 2020. If you have a PlayStation 4, then you need this game. You need to add this to your collection because there's simply no reason not to play this game. This game is just phenomenal, and I gotta give it up to VanillaWare. They may not drop games as quickly as Square Enix or any other company, but when they drop a game, it has impact, and I think that is what makes them stand above and beyond and head and shoulder beyond their competition. As a third-party AA developer, man, VanillaWare, you guys just knock it out of the park. But that's the review for 13 Sentinels Aegis RAM for PlayStation 4. Again, shout out to Sega for providing a review copy of this game. I really had a great time with this, and I honestly think that this is one of the sleeper hits of 2020. And that's the funny thing, is there's been a lot of games that have come out in 2020 that have just been absolutely phenomenal, and especially from Sega. Sega has been knocking it out of the park. I know some people may not realize that Sega and Atlus are technically the same company because of how they promote and in a way kind of keep their brands separate, but it's one company. It's two separate brands, kinda. But yes, Sega Atlus has just been knocking it out of the park in 2020. This is another gem. I don't think they've released a bad game all year. So if you're looking for something new to play, 13 Sentinels is a game you should be playing. So with that being said, what do you think? Do you have 13 Sentinels? Is it something that stood out to you? Do you enjoy it? Is it something that, you know, maybe there are things you didn't like? Maybe it took too long to get to the good parts of the story. Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going down below in the comment section. And also, if you want to join an amazing Discord community with a lot of other content creators, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, people who love video games, the video game industry, we got some folks in the industry in. If you want to join a community with some great folks, look at the link down in the description below. We got a lot of great people there. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Catch me over on Twitch. I stream every single week on twitch.tv/Kasanova. And also, if you enjoyed this and you want to support what we do here, we've got Patreon. So patreon.com/Kasanova. Whatever you invest into me, I reinvest into the channel, the podcast, the streams, and just try to provide higher quality content for you guys. Each and every video, stream, podcast, and more. So with that being said, thank you guys for coming through. I hope you had a great one. If you liked it, hey, hit the like button. If you loved it, sub. And if anything else, share it with somebody you think would enjoy it. And with that being said, I'm signing out. This is Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator, host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast, also #1 in the Pacific. And with that being said, we're out. That's the video. I got nothing else to say. Go play this game. It's freaking phenomenal. Deuces wild, too sweet, be the elite. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. So you made it to the end of the video, and I really want to say mahalo for making it to the end, or malo as we say in Samoan, for making it to the end of the video. It means a lot to me that you've done so, and I hope that if you made it this far that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I want you to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already if you want more content like this. We've got not only video game reviews, we got podcasts, we've got all kinds of content. Like, there's a whole lot that I could dive into, but there's a whole lot here, and I really want to thank you guys for coming through and for sticking through to this part of the video. So again, thank you. Mahalo, mahalo. Like, share, comment, and join our community. So that being said, thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.